subscribe and hit the bell icon and never miss another video.
It's a very difficult thing to achieve on paper, and I was intrigued to know how, and also not overlapping with Kamine. I mean, in a sense, you don't want to just be a replica of something that has already been loved so much.
I just know the script so well that I didn't have to say no to anyone that way.
Many times what happens when we start from the idea and when we execute it, we forget where we started from.
I don't always try and do too much unless absolutely necessary. Well, my starting point was just naukri mil jaye. So from that point of view, I'm really happy that I'm independent, I'm self-sufficient, I can afford to say yes and no. And I think that's a very big victory that should never be underestimated, that I can choose my films, I can choose when I want to work. The child inside you, the audience inside you gets fluctuated when you see stardom, when you see success. I've learned from that.
Hey guys, my name is Shravan Shah and today I'm going to be having a conversation with three काफी talented people in the house. We have Aasmaan, Arjun and Vishal Bhardwaj. How are you guys doing?
Not as excited as you for sure.
I'm very excited. I'm genuinely very excited.
This is the most energetic start to an interview we've had today.
No,
You woke us up.
Yeah? Chalo, I'm glad that happened.
Given us a start and a charge. We're very
I'm
excited.
so glad that happened. But guys, so before the year end, I was there at the trailer launch of Kuttey. And when I watched it, I was like, what am I watching? This is so cool. It kept me at the edge of the seat. And I'm like, this is a very different genre. So I'm going to come to you, Aasmaan. How do you define the genre of Kuttey? What do we call the genre?
So, in its truest sense, it's a caper film. So now caper includes lots of other subgenres, which is like thriller, crime, dark comedy. They're all inherent in a caper, a caper story. So at its core, it's a caper, but for if you want to simplify it a bit more, it's a caper thriller or a crime caper. Heist caper. But basically in a caper, all these elements are always there. It's a part of the caper.
Nice.
So,
and Arjun, when he approached you for the film, was it an instant yes? And did you also have a very similar reaction that the audience has had after they watched the trailer?
Yeah, I got quite excited that there's somebody thinking out of the box. I mean, he had done it with Kamine. I think that's one of the biggest benchmarks. And if perhaps we can argue in the caper space, maybe Johnny Gardar had a bit of noir caper feeling hints. So I was impulsively in to know more. But see, it's a very difficult thing to achieve on paper, and I was intrigued to know how. And also not overlapping with Kamine. I mean, in a sense, you don't want to just be a replica of something that has already been loved so much and revered for so many years. So my impulse was I was excited, and I was just hoping and praying that in the narration I do not feel disappointed or let down, that this is just another interpretation of it. And that's exactly what happened. I just went in, fingers crossed. I had a blast hearing it. And I was sold because it's one of my favorite genres. It's a genre that rarely is done on the big screen in India. It's a genre that is very tough to make, and to be really honest, the fact that he's decided to do a genre that's so tough and then to have the writing expertise of Sir, I somewhere knew that I'm in safe hands.
Aasmaan, when you work with such a huge star cast, it's also very important for the captain of the ship to know what he's doing, and because you're going to be the guiding light for everybody out there. When you shoot a project for, let's say, 30 days, 60 days, how do you manage, because with so many artists also come so many opinions, right? How do you manage to stick by your opinion, say, okay, hey, this is what I have in mind and let's stick to it and let's not deviate from it?
Right. So actually what was very good in that for me, like lucky for me, was that the screenplay of this film is so complicated that no one could question me on that, because I know everything. Because it's so much back and forth, so many days. If someone came and said कि इसमें ऐसे क्यों नहीं कर लेते, I would tell them कि वहाँ पे ना ऐसे हो रहा है, तो अगर ये कर दिया तो वो
it's a domino effect.
I knew this, like I've lived with the script since 2019. I've been writing on it since then. We've worked on it so much together. After that, we've prepped so much on it. So I just know the script so well that I didn't have to say no to anyone that way. Like I would never say no, don't tell me or something. I would always openly be like, okay, yes, let's discuss everything. It's a collaboration. Then that's what filmmaking is.
But Vishal sir, to what he said, when script writers and storytellers, you know, at times when they sit with a script for, let's say, years and years, how do you manage to have a very subjective, you know, this to it, that, hey, this is what we started to achieve, this is what we wanted to achieve, and यही achieve करना है, वो vision clear कैसे रखते हैं?
उसमें it's a very nice question actually. So, you know, many times what happens when we start from the idea and when we execute it, we forget where we started from. So I think that's very important to remember that, you know, what was our first idea which excited me or, you know, or anyone. So yeah, so and the whole effort is to be effortless. That how you know, you seem effortless. For that you have to do so much of effort.
That's true. That is so true.
Yeah.
Vishal sir, is there a genre that you really want to make that probably you've not tapped into? Is there a genre that you really want to do?
Yeah, horror genre I want to do actually. I'm very keen to do a horror genre film. Yeah. I'm doing one whodunit, as is, you know, small mini web series of Agatha Christie, which I have adapted. But I really want to make a horror film.
But Makdi was more
But that was creepy. Makdi.
If you can get a sense from Makdi what he'll do with
it's going to be very. It's going to.
Like,
but listen,
I would love to see Vishal sir make Quiet Place, for example. You know, film like Quiet Place, where you have two people stuck with even just a creature, or it would be really, because his creature would be very believable.
Yeah,
he wouldn't do a filmy Hollywoodized version of it. You know, he would have some emotion behind it also.
He'll play with your mind for sure.
For sure.
He'll play with your mind for sure. Today, when you sit back and look back to the journey that you've had, and you've had a great journey of a decade, okay. Is the Arjun Kapoor happy who probably 15 years ago dreamt of becoming an actor?
Well, my starting point was just naukri mil jaye. So from that point of view, I'm really happy that I'm independent, I'm self-sufficient, I can afford to say yes and no. And I think that's a very big victory. That should never be underestimated, that I can choose my films, I can choose when I want to work. So I think that's a big accomplishment, and I give myself very less credit sometimes. I come from the film industry with my family, but to create your own territory, to have your own niche, to be able to have your own independent identity when you meet people. You're not only representing your own father and your parents and your family, you also are Arjun Kapoor. So I'm very happy that I'm known as an entity. The body of work, I think I would undermine my own work if I say if I'm not happy, because those were my own choices at that point. I've learned out of the fact that I've made a few mistakes along the way. Who hasn't? My intent was always honest, but sometimes you get misplaced in doing certain films for certain different reasons. The child inside you, the audience inside you gets fluctuated when you see stardom, when you see success. I've learned from that, and I would like to believe 10 years ke baad I'm a little more mature in terms of being immature. I would want to be as childish as when I was starting out in terms of being whimsical and saying, "Mujhe kutte karni because mujhe caper dekhna pasand hai." In the middle, I'd lost that zest about selecting material. I'd become a little more calculated, you can say, or a little more influenced by other people. So I think when I look back, I've learned, I've done good work. I've done some, unfortunately not good work at a personal level, but it happens. But I've definitely found myself again. I think I started from a very honest place, and then I went through beats of not taking care of myself because I was dealing with my own personal stuff, and then not making the best selection of material for various reasons. But just the fact that I've learned that, I'm hoping the next 10 years will be far more personal, far more intimate, and far more quality driven and craft driven, because I've realized I can't control the fate of the film. It's not in my hands, and that takes a long time to accept when people put pressure on you of being a star. I'm happy to take that pressure, but I don't want to get bogged down by it anymore. I still want to be able to do Kuttey and want people to come and watch it, but I will not do it for the wrong reasons and influence Aasmaan or Vishal sir ki yaar wo ढांढना है, मैं आप item गाना कर दो picture के बीच में. I will not do that. I will not now try and appease the commercial side of every film. I will not try and play always to the galleries. You have to do films for the pure reasons that you're choosing to do them. Like you said, writing, जब आप picture बनाने का, आप जब film सुनते हो तो आप क्यों करना चाहते हो, वो end तक आपको याद रहना चाहिए as an actor also. You know, just because circumstances around you have changed, you cannot change the film or the way it is being positioned or the way it is being packaged or the way it is being made to suit you. whether you're on a high or a low, you still have to follow through on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, perhaps in 10 years I've learned a few smaller things that will help me survive longer and do better films and be a better actor for it.
Very well said, man. Very well said. Vishal, so the last question to you. Do you ever sit back and watch the cinema that you've made?
We all sit back and watch it.
We all do, for sure. But do you ever sit back and watch it and reanalyze it that, hey, is this, like, do you analyze it?
Yeah, well, not consciously I have seen, but whenever I get a chance to see, because when you have made the film, for many years you don't get, you don't get yourself separated from it. It's very difficult to see it very objectively. So now when I see, actually I see a lot of pattern in my writing, which people have not caught. So now I'm consciously, now I go back and see my films so that I don't repeat myself. So, somebody will see someday and say, yo, there's so many things are like this. That, someone is throwing a water on, either, heroine is throwing a water on the, hero's face. Or so I found that every film has that kind of thing. Or many
but
times.
वो तो अब आपका hallmark या trademark भी बन गया होगा ना, जो certain things that you might feel you're repeating, we as an audience will also enjoy. So अब सब कुछ मत ले लेना, कुछ चीजें
please keep some. Please keep some for all of us to love it. But thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for having a conversation with me. Like I said at the start of the interview, this is one of those trailers that got me really excited, where I'm like, damn, really looking forward to how this plays out, and hoping to catch it for sure. Hoping to catch up with all three of you all individually. And here's to having a good year, guys. Thank you so much. This one is a wrap.